everybody, it's Bev here. I thought I would do something a little bit different today and do a little video to share on the Seven Hills Crafts YouTube channel. I will be sharing, as usual, my card is over on the blog with photos, but I do highly recommend checking out the YouTube channel and watching some of the videos. It's a fabulous way to craft and learn, and I wanted to show how easy it is to use these Turnabout stamps from Concord and 9th with the stamp wheel. Now, before I got my stamp wheel, I still had the Turnabout stamps, but I occasionally found them a little bit trickier to use. But since the stamp wheel came out, it makes life easier for sure. So, as you know, I love Concord and 9th, and I think their Turnabouts are absolutely genius. This is one of my favourite designs. It's the mod Turnabout. It has a lovely mid-century modern feel to it. So I think that's why I like it so much, because I really do like that design style. So I'm just going to move the bottom half of my stamp wheel out of the way. And we are going to be using this top section to get our stamp. Now, this is a guide. All the Turnabouts come with the guide for placement, which theoretically should make placing it super easy. It has this side up, but you want to do the reverse for using your stamp wheel and placement. So I actually turn it upside down. I have a little bit of removable tape here, and as you can see, I work on this grid mat, this paper stack I have done for many years now, and I'm just lining up the center. Most of your cutting mats and things have a grid system as well, that you can find a center point just to secure your guide down. And so I'm just using some Scotch tape there to hold it down. And then I'm using the stamp section of the platform. Hopefully you can see on the video, if you don't have one of these yourself already. I do highly recommend them, because they are expensive, but I think it's a super investment in any crafter's inventory. You get the beauty of the platform, like any stamping platform, but you get the turning effect as well, and I just think, yeah, it's genius. And I'm glad I purchased one. So it's got a grid on it with lines. So what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that not only is it centered, but it lines up with the grid, the diagonal lines on your stamp guide. So I will show why I've put it upside down and not this way up, because you just want to place your stamp, position it as best you can. These larger ones can be a little bit tricky now and then, but you just place it until you're happy, and then hopefully I have positioned it correctly. As you can see, I don't get it perfect each time. First go. Normally I would stand up to do this, but I don't want to get my head in the way of the camera. And I don't edit my videos. It's just as they come. And there we go. So we can take that away now. And before I bring the base in, I've got a 13 centimeter square white piece of card, and I'm just going to go ahead and mark the center on two sides, so 6.5. And this will just help me place my card in with the guide a little bit more. So I went ahead and purchased the grid mat, the thin ones. I chose black so I could see it a little bit easier. Just because the original one, it was a little bit harder. I'll show you underneath. With it being clear, it was a little bit harder to find like the centre, and this just makes it a lot easier for finding the centre. Obviously UK card sizes can be a little bit different than the American size, which is marked out, but I just use this centre line here and here just to line up my card. And theoretically, we're ready to stamp. So I always start with the notch, the circle at the top, and then that just keeps me right when it comes to turning. As you know, I love the Concord 9th inks, and I've chosen some lovely, warm, summery colours. I apologise that Marmalade, which I absolutely love, is a retired colour. But the apologies for that phone, my husband hasn't turned it off. The Clementine is a nice substitute, but as you can see, it is a slightly lighter shade. But I do love Marmalade. I can't stop using it, and I'm gutted that they retired the colour. But we are going to use it today, I'm afraid. So I'm going to start off with the Buttercup colour. Now, these cube sizes and this design is fabulous if you wanted to do a lovely rainbow effect. Now, if I was going to do a rainbow effect, I'd probably be keeping you for more than sort of half an hour. It'd probably take me an hour and a half, and I would individually colour rainbow these and then turn it and do it again. So I'm just going to stick to doing single colours. But as you can see, these blocks are just lovely, the perfect size for inking individually if you wanted to. So if you don't have a stamping platform, if you don't own one at all, I highly recommend them. They make for stamping and repeat stamping so much easier, and the beauty of this stamp wheel is that you've got the turning aspect as well. So if I was starting out just now as a card maker and stamping, I would probably choose the stamp wheel, because you get not only the positioning effect of a stamping platform, but you get the turning effect as well. So I think they are totally worth the money. I was a little bit disappointed they weren't bigger. It would have been nice to have the sort of more of a 12 by 12 size. That would make it even more versatile, but obviously more expensive. So I was a little bit shocked that they weren't bigger when I opened the box. But this card is 13 centimeters square, so it is quite large. And I think, well, the grid goes up to 7 inches. So I don't tend to go super big, but just for more sort of placement, if you wanted to, it would have been nice for it to be slightly bigger. But hey ho, it still does the job. So the sun was out, but it has gone away now. It's been one of them weeks where we've had sort of overcast weather, we've had rain showers, we've had sunshine. Honestly, it's felt like spring mixed in with autumn. Not quite summer here. So there is the Buttercup colour. And then I'm going to go in with the Marmalade. Now, I'm using just a microfiber cloth here, mainly because my stamp chamois has disappeared and I haven't got round to replacing it. I used to have the Lawn Fawn one, and for the life of me, I do not know where it went. I have a feeling it fell off my desk and into the bin, which is under my desk, and I didn't notice when I've emptied it. so I will get round to purchasing one at some point. Excuse me, I'm gonna cough. I just love, I'm so gutted that they retired this marmalade colour, because it is lovely. And I absolutely love the Concord and 9th colours. And inks. Now, my positioning might be off a little bit. So I do apologise. Even the perfectionist and the seasoned stamper will still get these turnabouts slightly off a little, but there you go. This platform just makes it super easy for the turning aspect. So instead of turning your paper, if you were using a normal platform, you're turning the stamp. So I'm just repeating the colours here, just so I get a nice, beautiful impression, deep, rich colour. I'm just pressing over. So as you can see, I moved the circle just round to the middle of the next one. Now you could have some fun with this and come up with your own patterns with the stamp wheel. And you could try, I haven't tried it myself, but you could try by, instead of turning it a full quarter turn, you could turn it this way and see what you come up with. It's all about experimenting and having fun, but sometimes I'm not quite as brave as I look when it comes to stamping. So now I've got honeysuckle, one of my favourite colours, lovely raspberry pink. It still comes out top even with the new dragon fruit colour, which is just as lovely. But honeysuckle matches a Pantone colour that I use to paint one wall in my studio, which makes me happy and brings some cheer to my studio. Might not bring cheer to my husband, now he has to share the office with me again. But that's not his fault or my fault for choosing the colour, because originally we had separate offices, and then one of my twins decided he wanted his own bedroom, so my husband had to move back in with me. So this colour is used a lot by me, so this pad gets dry super quickly. Even though I re-inked it yesterday, it's starting to run out again. But I do have it in a bigger version. My favourite colours I tend to get in the larger pad as well, but they can be a little bit cumbersome when it comes to stamping these. And I try not to get too much ink overlapping on the stamp, the base of the stamp, just because some of these reds and pinks and oranges, they can stain a little, and it makes for looking through them a little bit harder. But another reason why to have a damp cloth or stamp chamois just to clean in between colours as well. So one more and I should be done. And I should be happy with the coverage. There we go. And then we've got one more turn for the 4 turns. Obviously you can get different looks just by using that. You don't have to do the full turns or 4 turns. You can just do 2 or 3. I like a little of balance with my cards, and very rare I only do 1 or 2 turns. Occasionally I might just do the 3. 3 is my favourite number, but normally I do all 4. And one day I will do a rainbow version, no matter how long it takes me, because I think it'll look super cool. But as I say, I don't want to keep you too long. And we'll do one more with the poppy. Again, another beautiful colour. Such a vibrant red, and one of my favourites. Not everyone likes pairing pink and red, but pink, red and orange I think look lovely together. And that's how easy it is to use the Turnabout with the AlteNew stamp wheel. And I'm just going to clean my stamp with the cloth before I move it away, and then we will get to finishing my card. So I use this pokey tool just to get under the edge of my card. I find I use quite thin cardstock for my top layers, but a little sort of like bend of it, and there we have our mod background. As you can see, my stamping is just off a little bit, but it still looks good. The old me would have started again and got it centered correctly and perfectly, but over the years I've learned to get over my perfectionism a little bit, because at the end of the day it is a handmade card. So I went ahead and die cut the hello sentiment before I came on camera from the quintessential scripty saying dies, and I might actually die cut one now, because I wasn't sure at first if I should do hello as well, and I'm gonna do hello friend, because I thought I wasn't 100% sure how much it would cover up the background pattern, but I think hello on its own would look a little bit lost on this size card. I don't normally do square cards. It's quite rare for me. I tend to stick to the sort of standard size card. So yeah, we're going to die cut the friend to go with it, and then I'm going to just adhere it flat, and then just embellish a little bit with some of my favourite Concord and 9th embellishments. I love their enamel dots. So we don't need all of this piece of card. I don't like die cutting the whole sheet of a card, because you get a little bit of transference of the cutting marks from the base plates. So I use the big shot from Sizzix. I've had it absolutely years. I've often thought, should I get a new one? But this is, for now, it does the job. And touch wood, I've had no problems with it. I'm just gonna die cut the friend, making sure I don't move the die. Comes out lovely. Just move that out of the way. My desk is quite small. If I have my inks out and I've got my laptop here and things, I don't have a permanent place on my desk for a die cutting machine. So the eye, I always forget this, don't put all your little bits in the bin before you get your eye for the friend. So I've chosen black for your die cutting, just because it's nice and vibrant. and stands out against these lovely colours. So I have this Tombow glue. I haven't prepared it before I came on video, so I might have to shake it, but I think it's coming out now. So just so I don't get all this wonky donkey, I use this removable tape just to keep things in place, and just so my base bit doesn't move too much. And the glue is starting to come out, and you don't have to put too much on, just little dots is what I use. Now normally so with die cuts I tend to use wet glue. I don't normally use wet glue for anything else other than dies cuts. I tend just to use double-sided tape, only because I've had bad experiences with wet glue in the past, buckling card and things. Just personal preference, I guess. Now if you had loads of patience like I normally do, you could use your foam adhesive to give it a bit of dimension. I use the 1mm thick foam adhesive. It just makes it easier for posting, keeping postage costs down. So I just want the die cuts just to meet the edges a little bit. So I'll just place the friend so I can get spacing a little bit. Now with these scripty dies, you don't have to, there's no right sort of or wrong placement of them. It's just down to personal preference. And I'm happy with that, and obviously I'll go back in and trim off any of the edges. So my Tombow glue gets this little bobble now and then that goes, sort of springs out of the top. A bit of air pushes it up. I'm just using my pokey tool. It's also my scoring tool. I use it all the time just to get rid of this bubble at the top so I don't get too much going over. Apologies for all the dings, that is life. And if you heard that squawking, that was Zonk, one of our chickens. I should say my son's chickens. My boys decided they wanted chickens as pets. If she can't find any of the other three, if she's been in laying an egg, she squawks when she can't find them, and she makes a right racket. She doesn't like being on her own. Only when she lays an egg she likes being on her own, and then she likes the company of the others. So she obviously hasn't found them yet. So you could have just done the hello and then stamped the friend, set part of the sentiment and stuck it on a banner, but I think these two scripts go quite nicely together. I'm just going to go ahead and pop the eye down to finish that word off. And I have a nice stash of, I'm slowly building my stash up of the lovely Concord and 9th enamel dots, and they match all the colours. The orange of the marmalade is slightly different. It's a bit sort of more neon. You can see my favourites is Pebble. So there's a nice selection here. I think I'm going to go for white today just to sit inside some of the mod leaves. And I always do like a trio of enamel dots. It's threes, and odd numbers are good numbers when it comes to balance. And it's nice that it comes in 3 sizes as well, the enamel dots. So I absolutely love these. So no rhyme or reason. I tend to do 2 there, and then usually diagonally up somewhere. And I'm just going to tuck it here under the H of the hello. I don't put too much thought into, as you can see, into the placement of my enamel dots. You could put more on. And then I'm just going to trim the bits of the sentiment that go over the edge. And then I'm going to layer this up with some black cardstock. I have the Concord 9th Black. Now, I don't make full cards unless I know I am going to be sending them straight away. And I would probably, if I'm using a coloured card base, I tend to always do them flat and then put them on a white card base to send. And it just makes for photographing cards a lot easier as well. So I tend to do them all flat first and then make them up into a card if I know I'm going to send it. So I use double-sided tape. I've got these scissors, these Fiskars ones. I use 2 different pairs of scissors, one for cutting glue stuff. I know I did have a little bit glue on them edges, but my sharp paper scissors are used just for that. And my friends all laugh at me because I cut my double-sided tape instead of tearing it. But it's just something I've always done and I can't get out of the habit of it now. Who cuts their double-sided tape and who tears it? That is my question for you. Put it in the comments. I'd love to know. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video, that it has been helpful. As much as I've enjoyed doing it. And I will place my piece of card here. But it's been fun crafting with you today. As I say, I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, I will look at doing some more videos and crafting with you on a Thursday. See you later. See you next week. Bye for now.